Welcome to Real Inside Sales Talk with Mark and Jayson, episode 19. Today we have a short little episode. We interview Katie Groves, a hairstylist in the area, and then Mark and I riff on what new businesses can do to get your business going. You can find us at realinsidesalestalk.com. You can check out our Vulcan 7 page at realinsidesalestalk.com/Vulcan-7. Check out our video there. Mark takes you through a little simple beginning how-to of how to use Vulcan 7, how it can work for you in your business. Click on the link there and you can get a discount and some training if you purchase Vulcan 7. Thank you for listening. Here's the show.
Hair looks good, by the way.
Thank you.
Does his hair look good, Katie? Could you do his hair like my hair like that? That looks really good.
I put highlights in my hair. What's her name? Melissa put highlights in my hair.
I don't think you should put highlights in
No,
your
not
hair.
highlights, but like the curve. Because I'm receding right here.
But your hair's curly.
Oh.
Curly. So you'd have ringlets.
You don't want to have ringlets.
That sounds like it. All right, Katie, let's talk about selling arts and crafts.
Did you get the Jew fro going or something? Does it get like curly and afro-y?
This is going to be great.
Katie, what do you do? What do you do for a living?
I cut hair.
I hear you cut hair.
And you sell arts and crafts. You got to talk louder.
Oh, we're on right now?
Wow.
Oh,
But just
You
don't
can
worry,
edit
because
that.
I can edit anything out. So you can say like, whatever, I hate my job, and I'll take it out. So you do two things: you cut hair, and you also do crafts.
Somewhat, yes.
Somewhat crafts.
Yes.
Do you somewhat cut hair?
I do somewhat cut hair. I do that.
Most of the time.
Yes.
Do you get through most haircuts? I mean,
Yes.
You don't stop halfway or anything, do you?
Majority of the time I don't stop. It just depends.
Okay.
Because I work at a children's salon, so sometimes
Children's salon?
Yes.
Wow.
Sometimes the kids can get pretty crazy.
Can they?
Yep.
Can't imagine children getting crazy. Can you, Mark?
No, not at all. Now, Katie, I've seen that you've sold some arts and crafts, some T-shirts. You've been making all sorts of unique products and selling them on Facebook Marketplace. Excuse me. Tell us what that's been like. Tell us what your experience has been like, and most importantly, tell us how the customers are responding.
So far, my biggest seller has been T-shirts, and the T-shirts have gone pretty well.
What kind of T-shirts are these? Do they have like logos on them? Designs? Rhinestone?
Well, just HTV vinyl.
Really?
So, yep.
Okay.
Yep,
You
which
did
is
the
heat transfer vinyl.
Heat transfer vinyl. Okay.
That's the one with the iron?
Yes.
Okay, so you print it out with like a Cricut printer.
Yes, I use the Cricut.
Use the Cricut printer, and you print out the logos, and you go and buy the product, and then you just stick it on there?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
yes.
do you do this just with somebody else or out of your house?
I do it out of my house, and
Cool.
I do it completely by myself. So.
Now, do you do other crafts besides T-shirts?
I can.
Really?
Yes, I had a girl buy some vinyl cutouts for her. She made planter stands, and she put their names on them.
Now, how do you sell this stuff? Do you have like a website or?
I don't have a
Facebook,
website, just kind of word of mouth right
Really?
now. But
So you do most of it locally?
yes.
So you use like the public websites, like for sale in our zip code?
Mainly I just do Facebook, posting them there.
Is that working pretty well for you?
Yeah.
Like, do you do targeted advertising?
No, not really.
No. So you don't do any paid advertising?
No paid advertising.
No paid advertising.
So how do you
Strictly Facebook.
So how do you find people to sell to if you don't do any targeted advertising? Like, how are you finding people to, like, the right group to?
Well, the first time I made T-shirts was I put them in different Facebook groups, and it was for Father's Day.
Right.
And I had made up a bunch of different designs, and people contacted me, and I sold about $250 worth of shirts. So.
Nice.
But it was nice. I mean, I really didn't make any money off of it because it kind of paid for all my supplies.
Paid for your expenses.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you getting to the point where you're a little more efficient, a little more profitable?
Yes, definitely.
So what was one of the first things you learned, besides just, oh my gosh, I just broke even and I did all this work? What was one of the other first things you learned when you started
The
doing
first thing I learned was to have them pay up front. Instead of just trusting
That's a good
that
point.
they would pay.
Everybody out there, yes.
Honestly, I only had 3 people. Well, no, there was 2 people who didn't actually pay
Oh, no.
for their items. But, I mean,
Did you
It was
find them
only-
and hunt them down and say,
I
"You will
wanted
pay me"?
to and
Yeah.
tell them I was going to cut them. But I did not. I did not. I bit my
Was one of them
tongue.
Mark?
Yeah,
Mark, yeah, I'll take it on consignment. And you're like, okay, no.
I've had repeat customers that I haven't made pay up front just because they have been returning customers.
loyal
I know
customers.
I can trust them and stuff.
Okay,
so.
now
So that would be like a good lead then.
That would be a perfect lead. So how do you, I mean, other than Facebook, and you said word of mouth, is a lot of your business repeat business?
For the most part, yes.
So back to the day job. So how long you been in hairstyling?
Oh, goodness. I have been a hairstylist for 13 years.
13 years? Really? All of it with kids?
No.
No.
Not always.
Really?
Mhm.
Where'd you start out?
I actually started out at Smart Style. I didn't work there very long. But then I went to Supercuts, and I was at Supercuts for 3 years.
And I'm sure on that you had to develop like a clientele and loyal
You know,
customers, or was it a lot of walk-ins?
Honestly, it was more walk-ins than anything.
Really?
So, yes, I really didn't have to develop a clientele. I did while I was there, but
Right.
when I left, I wasn't able to take any clients with me
Oh,
because
no.
it's kind of their agreement when you work at a place like that. You can't
Now, where'd you go after that?
take your clientele. I worked at a salon in Nixa.
Classic Cuts?
Classic Cuts.
Classic
Yes.
Cuts, okay.
Yes,
They went
they're
out of
Classic
business,
Cuts.
didn't they? Yeah.
They did, and I got out of there right before they shut their
Really?
doors. Like literally
Just
3
in
days before
time.
they shut their doors, I left. Yes.
So, and then after that, where'd you go? Is that where you ended up
I
with the kids?
ended up at Cookie Cutters.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, how do you deal
And
with
then
the
Ulta Hair Salon, right? You did the high-end stuff for a
I
while.
did that for a few months, but it wasn't really for me.
So, like, we talk about lots of different types of sales jobs. Like,
Mhm.
I've done telemarketing, I've done insurance, I've done technical support, I've done hotels.com. All of them were completely different. What was the difference between Supercuts and Ulta and Cookie Cutters?
Supercuts was basically you had your clientele come to you. I mean, you really didn't have to reach out and promote yourself necessarily.
right?
Same thing with Cookie Cutters. I mean, they just came to you because there's only 2 kids
Only
salons in
two different
town.
alternatives in
Right.
town, right?
So you either go to this one or that one, or you take them to other places.
Are
And
you
usually-
pretty, now do you get a lot of demanding people in there? Do you get, what's the
you
age
can.
range? Give us an idea. What's the age
I
range?
have done as young as 8 days old.
Oh, 8 days.
A haircut on an
Yes.
8-day-old?
That kid was
Yes.
born with a lot of hair.
A little Mexican baby.
Really?
Mexican baby, but had hair all the way down to his lips.
Holy,
And they had to
seriously?
ponytail his... Yes, they had to ponytail his hair after he was born. Cause
Jiminy Christmas.
I didn't know that was even possible.
I didn't either. That's
Yeah.
a new one on
Yeah.
me out there.
that
Well, we never
was,
would've known
that
if it
was
wasn't us.
intimidating, cutting
I bet
that
it
young
was.
of a baby's
Well,
hair.
did they like hold the baby while you cut his
Yeah.
hair? Yeah,
Yeah.
I figured that'd be the way. Now, which ones are the brattiest? What age range?
2 to 4. 2 to 4.
They don't cooperate at all.
No.
Just
No, they do
fuss,
not. Yes.
scream,
Yes.
everything.
Yes. Oh, yes. The
Yeah.
whole shebang.
Now, are the parents usually pretty cooperative? Are they going there?
Some can be. Some can be. You know, we usually try to tell the parents in the beginning that, hey, you know, your kid might not like this, and if they do, we can try to make them as comfortable as we can.
Right.
But there are going to be times that we will need your help, and if you can't help us, then you're not going to get a good
You're
haircut.
not going to get a good
Yeah.
haircut. Yeah.
So, in your sales industry, you're also setting expectations up front, saying, okay, this can happen, but we're in an agreement that we're going to work together on this.
Yes, for the most part.
And that's where it goes back to setting expectations with your clients. Let's put out the fire before it starts burning.
Before it starts working. Now, you've been doing it for how long? Cutting
Ulta.
kids' hair?
Ulta,
Cutting
what was
kids'
that?
hair? I have been cutting kids' hair
At this place you're talking about.
for 6 years.
Okay.
No, it'll be 7 years September 1st.
So what's the appeal? What keeps you coming back?
You know, something about working with kids is addictive, as weird as
Right.
that sounds.
No,
you know?
I understand.
But I
understand
think
completely.
also working with kids, you kind of got to be a little crazy. Because nobody
Well,
wants to do the job.
Well, you certainly have some patience too. I mean, cutting hair. I mean, that's just especially for kids.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not something that just everybody wakes up and says, "Hey," and you find something you're good at though.
Yeah.
6 years at any job these days. I mean, that means something. I know people that. Mark, how many jobs I went through in 6 years when I was in my 20s? It's like
too many to count. So, if you had advice for a new stylist out there and just wanting to explore their options and new experiences, and they were about to cut kids' hair, what's the advice you give? Top 3 pointers, Katie.
For cutting kids' hair, patience.
Patience, of course. Patience, of course. I mean, you actually make that 1, 2, and 3. But...
Definitely patience.
Right.
Speed.
You have to be like proficient in judo or something to like block the kids kicking and everything. And
yeah, well, basically, yeah.
Have plenty of disinfectant on hand.
Yeah, watch out for the projectile vomit when the kid's upset, because it will happen.
So the vomiting and
no, I mean, really, the biggest thing is patience.
Right.
That's the number one thing, because if you don't have patience with the parents, then the parents are going to get frustrated, and then the kids feed off the parents' frustration. Yeah. So.
Do you guys have a pretty good setting for it? I mean, do you have traditional barber chairs? Do you use different chairs?
Actually, they're old school, like, pedal cars.
Really?
Turned into chairs for the kids to
that's
sit
cool,
in.
because I was about to say the environment can't be just like your regular barbershop hair salon thing.
I mean, we also have regular chairs, and they have video games, so if the older kids come in, they have something
to do and play with, yeah.
Well, hey, I'm glad you let me jump in here, Jayson. What about the third one there, Ulta, where you have to attract clientele and, like, people come in and book a big haircut, but then they don't tip? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Ulta was not for me, but I am not saying it's not
for everybody.
I mean, there's so many people out there that would do good there, but since I was in the kid haircutting industry for so long, I kind of lost everything. I mean, I still knew what I was doing, but it just the hair industry had changed so much in that time.
Right.
All this balayage, foliage, all this crazy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It was all brand new to me, so I felt like I was literally fresh out of school again.
Sure.
So,
sure.
When people get out of hair school and they want to find a new job, I recommend going to a salon where you do have to earn, gain your clientele that way. Because if you start out somewhere like Supercut, Smart Style, somewhere like that, yes, it is instant money, but if you want to branch off on your own,
you've got to get people coming back.
You're going to fail, and it's going to be long.
So if you were just starting out and just like learning, when you're starting out in haircuts, is the pro and con of the supercuts might be that it's a good place to learn to cut different hair.
Yes, and speed and all that kind of learning stuff for sure. But
quick experience.
But to build a clienttle, you need to go with kind of independent,
absolutely.
Somebody boutique sort of place, and I agree with you too, because I've had I had 2 predominant. Now I have a hairstylist. Now I say stylist. To me they're always barbers, but I've got one now that I finally have. Finally met a good one. Mm-hmm. And so I've been with her for about 18 months, and then before that, the one I was with for the longest time was like 10 years.
Right.
Yeah, and when I lost that connection, it was just I was devastated, because when you find somebody that dependably can cut your hair, man.
Yeah.
You keep going back to them and going back to them and going back to them.
Yep.
And, and that's, I'm sure you've got a lot of repeats with the kids, though, don't you?
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, I have adults that come in to get their haircut, because even though I'm at a children's salon, they still will come to me. And I have a lady who, she lived 3.5 hours away, but she would drive to Springfield just to see me, because she could not find anybody to cut her hair.
Now, do you have like any little old ladies that come in there every Thursday at 9?
No, we don't do roller sets, none of that.
Nickel tippers?
No, none of that.
No, you got every grandmother, that's what they do once a week is, go get their hair done, and they go in like a group and
get the hair washed and blow dried and tip you in
roller sets.
Yeah. Yep. Sit under that hairdryer for a while.
You talk about the market changing in hair. So did you find yourself having to do a lot of up training to make yourself better to be able to compete?
When I was at Ulta, I mean, they put you through training, and they want to make sure that you can do braids and blowouts and, work the curling iron and all that different stuff. So you have to go through some sort of training class or testing, but every, I think, 6 months, they have trainers come in and teach you whatever's new, what's the big thing. So
that's understandable. That's understandable. Well, Katie, I appreciate having you on. It's been amazing.
All right. Well,
Welcome to Real
Stop
ISA
by
Talk,
any-
Katie, and
Yeah,
stop by again.
Yeah, stop by
Alright.
anytime you're in the neighborhood.
All right, I will do my best.
That's awesome, man.
That's fun.
I mean, you had to deal with real problems that every company faces as they grow. I mean, you start a business, Mark. Let's say, Mark, you're going to start a business and you're going to be a handyman. Okay, you're good with tools.
You're with tools.
You're good with tools. So you get your business license. You've got your tools. You've got your truck. You've got your logo. You got your business card. You're like raring to go. Where are you going to find your first lead? Besides a relative, besides the wife's, besides the mother-in-law, he says, "Mark, you fix my door." And,
I'm going to start driving around the neighborhood. I'm going to look for houses that have problems on the outside, roof damage. I'm going to look for windows that are just nasty. They need replaced.
Siding needs to be replaced or
Siding needs
something.
to be replaced. Trees have fallen over. Fences need fixed.
Yeah.
I'm going to look for all this simple shit.
Yeah.
Like, if this was my house, what would I fix?
Yeah.
So I'll say, hey, I was driving by. I noticed that you had this going on with this. Are you interested in getting it fixed? And if so, here's how much it would cost me to get it fixed.
Give them a free home evaluation.
Yeah, like, I know I'm just popping by, so you might be a year out on doing this, but
So you might start going like.
I'm going to look at everything. Just
You
take
might-
I'm going to pay attention to my surroundings.
You'd go door to door at first.
Absolutely. If I was selling concrete and I'm running low and I need to get rid of this load and I need to make some money, I'm going to start driving by trailer parks, looking at all the people that have potholes in their driveways and in their street and charging people to get that shit fixed.
Right.
Say, hey, I'll pour this concrete right now, fix your pothole problem, fix your driveway problem, make it look a lot better. I can do this or that to the water spouts on the house. Oh, by the way, I do gutters too. I noticed that you have so many leaves in your gutters. Me and my buddy run this gutter company. We can go out there and pick all those leaves out and make that thing look great. Oh, by the way, I do power washing too.
That's
So
the thing.
then I'm selling.
We're going to talk about what it is to be a new business owner. You just started your business.
What do you do?
Yeah. What do you do? What do you do next? Where do I get money? Where do I get customers? Where do I get customers? Besides, everybody when they start a new business, okay, all the relatives get excited, and everybody will,
Well, let me tell you.
Okay.
I gotta tell you. When I was 12 years old, my dad said, "You want money? You want to go swimming? You want to buy these video games? Like I want to buy Mortal Kombat 4."
Yeah.
I go, "Yeah. What do I gotta do?" He goes, "All right." He goes, "I want you to start charging people for lawns.
Right.
20 for a medium, 25 for a large." I'm like, "Well, what's the difference between a medium and a large?" He goes, "You'll know when you look at it."
Yeah.
He goes,
yeah.
"What I want you to do is I want you to take this lawnmower and this gas can and this weed eater. I put the weed eater in my red wagon and I pulled it behind my lawnmower and I have a gas can in there too in the red wagon. And I would look for all the yards that had tall grass and say, hey, I'll mow your grass right now, $25 after I've looked at it, and I'd already have a price prior to knock on the door because I would go look.
Right.
And like some kid pulls up with a lawnmower with a weed eater and a gas can. That's American sales. They're like,
yeah.
dude, yeah, here, dude.
Oh yeah. Well,
And
and
the
I
next thing
did.
you know, they're like, all right, let's make this a weekly thing.
My granddad was all about encouraging me to go door to door sell something. He always
Yeah.
had up flagpoles. We had honey, raised bees. We'd grow vegetables in his backyard and go next door and sell go door to door and sell vegetable baskets. He was always having me like, yeah, go knock on doors, go knock on doors, go knock on doors. It's how you meet people.
Thank you again for listening to Real Inside Sales Talk, episode 19 with Mark and Jayson. We hope you enjoyed it. You can find us at realinsidesalestalk.com. You can find us on Facebook at ISA Talk. You can find us on Twitter at Real ISA Talk. Like, share, and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, all your favorite podcaster apps. Send us a comment on our website or Facebook. Let us know what you think. Have any questions about the show? Something you want to hear? Something you want to talk about? Just let us know. Thank you again, folks. We'll see you again soon. Thank you again for listening to Real Inside Sales Talk, episode 19 with Mark and Jayson. We hope you enjoyed it. You can find us at realinsidesalestalk.com. You can find us on Facebook at